Hello, welcome. It is UK Cowboys TV Season 1, Episode 27, and it is the post-game show for the Vikings. Game. Yeah. So we have, we called the last time with the Jets, we called it the Big Heel. This one is going to be called the Big Sleep, because I don't know if anyone in America who watches the show can tell, but we've all got massive bags under our eyes tonight after the grueling few weekends we've had with 1 o'clock morning starts and staying up till 5 o'clock in the morning. Soon takes its drag on us, don't you think, guys?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Anyway, we've got the All Celt class. So last week it was Scotland versus Ireland. It's Scotland, Ireland, and Wales. We've got Paul Stewart with us representing Scotland. We have last week's host who took the reins, Mr. Brian with an eye game. And yeah, that's actually what you're going to be called from now on, mate.
Yeah.
But yes, we're all trying to stay cheery and good despite what's going on. As they always say, positive mental attitude. So we're going with that.
Yeah.
So just to give you an update, I've gone on and checked. There aren't at the moment any further injury updates from the game. So what we've got is Jeff Heath still and Cam Fleming. So that's one positive in a way that there's no further injuries. It doesn't mean to say that we'll get some as the weeks develop. But I'm going to ask you guys then. We'll go in alphabetical order. So we'll ask you, Brian, who was your offensive MVP for this game this week?
For me, it could only be one person. It was Dak. Absolutely, Dak. Like, the guy did everything in his power to win that game for the Cowboys. He has laid it on the line. He's we all know he's in his contract year. He has done everything he can to win to earn himself a contract. He's making plays. He's extending plays. He's working with his receivers. Like, the fact that now I think we do have a 1 and a 1A receiver is it's just fantastic. And obviously they were the next best players. But Dak easily.
Okay,
yeah. Paul, you got a different guy, or are you going with Dak as well?
No, I completely agree with Dak. I mean, just like we had two wide receivers with over 100 yards and a touchdown each, and we had Michael Gallup, was it 78 yards and a touchdown? So
yeah,
and not just that, Jarwin had some yardage, Witten had some yardage. I mean, he had all the weapons for it, like he threw to everybody, and the only mistake was very much like it was the Hail Mary at the end, but it's not really a mistake. It's basically going to try and win the game.
Yeah.
It's going to be a 50-50. But yeah, that only person for me was Dak.
Okay. Just to be different, so we got a bit of difference going on. I'm going to go with the Amari Cooper, purely on the basis 140 yards touchdown.
Yeah.
Those insane catches on the sideline.
Oh, the toe tap. Oh.
Yeah, one after the other. Even the touchdown was a toe tap, drag.
Not just that, he was questionable to play the game today as well.
That's right. And
so,
I tell you what, that brings me on to one, actually, is one of the unsung heroes of the Cowboys roster is the medical team. Whatever they're doing at the moment,
yes.
I mean,
God knows how they do it, but
I know, yeah. We need to find out what they're putting in the water down there. So I could do with a bottle of that tonight.
Me too. Sign me up.
If
they just sign my bloody back, I can play in a couple of years.
The way that medical team works, I bet they could get us all, up to a standard, medically anyway. But I know my body's a party riddled mess.
Yeah.
But anyway, you can tell we're tired. Listen to the ramblings. Do you know what I mean? I bet people are going to be watching this like, wow, those guys are a bit weird. We're not weird. We're just tired.
We definitely haven't been drinking.
No. Well, some may have. I'm going to be keeping my eye on you guys. But Anyway, right, we've got to carry this on before we go completely off the rail. And
yeah, we did.
Just the show becomes just one big blooper reel. So anyway, one of the questions I'm going to ask you guys, we'll stick with it with what we're doing here, going in alphabetical order. Brian, on offense, who do you think needs to do more or needed to do more in that particular game?
I'm going to say it, and it's been building for me for a couple of weeks. The offensive line, I don't know what is going on there. They just don't seem to be opening the holes for Zeke to get through. Zeke doesn't seem to have the juice this year. I know he's had a lot of 100-yard games, but you're just not seeing that explosive play from Zeke at all. Where he's bowling over guys, where he's hurdling guys. You're just not seeing it. And that's probably a result of the fact the holes aren't being opened up for him. Take it back a year, 2 years ago, when Travis Frederick was fully healthy and Zach Martin was fully healthy, they were opening. It was highways they were opening for him. It wasn't gaps, and he was off. He was to the races. It's not happening this year. I don't know what it is, and it's concerning. I think collectively Tyron is getting battered up. Travis just hasn't performed at the level we all know want him to play it, and even Zach Martin has come out in recent weeks and said, I'm not playing to the standard I should be playing, and that's just having that knock-on effect that Zeke is not getting the yards we would want him to get.
Yeah, agree. Are you going with that, Paul, or have you got a different guy who you think needs to do more?
Well, just to kind of follow up from what Brian said there, in terms of the offensive line, if it's the run game, they really need to improve. I thought pass protection, they actually did a good job considering.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, points. They did. We saw I couldn't follow them. Obviously, it's like that maybe held on to a little bit too long, maybe. But other than that, running the game, I don't know what's going on. Whether it's just it's just like a lack of physicality. It's happening up front.
Yeah.
And again, not to pinpoint anyone in particular in the O-line, but I'm seeing it again with Connor Williams again. It's like he's still getting forced back quite a lot. And
go on. Sorry.
So we're seeing very similar traits of last season, and like Brian said, Frederick just seems to be like he is struggling a bit as well. So I don't know if that's just down to just him still recovering and that. And again, Zeke needs to improve. Like he's had those 100 games.
Yeah.
And this, whether not being at training camp and not really knowing the full extent of the playbook or anything like that, all these wee small things can have a big major factor. So we definitely need both our backfielders and O-line to step up. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, what I was going to say that ties in with that, especially with that leads to a segue to the next part, is not so much that needs to do more, but I want to see more of is Tony Pollard.
Yes. What happened to him?
Yeah, there's plays, especially on that fourth down. I mean, we'll talk about the play calling now. That call where you've got the running back coming on a rub play coming across, right? That's designed for Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
He's so much quicker. You imagine if that was him in it, I just baffles me that one. But
I wouldn't say he was quicker than C, but I would say he's more elusive.
Yeah. Maybe.
I know you were getting that though.
Yeah. As a catcher,
Yeah, I think the reason we're not seeing Pollard is the fact that in this game, in the Jets game, in the Packers game, we got behind early and large, and there just wasn't that chance like that where we could establish the run You know, we always talk about, winning the trenches and establishing the run and establishing our identity. We just haven't done it this year, and that has meant that, Zeke isn't getting the advantages he should, and that's not then allowing us that chance to get Pollard into the game, have two of them in the backfield. You're going, what's going to happen here? And I think what game was it? Was the first or second game of the season where they both went for 100 yards?
Yeah.
And we got out to an early lead, and we saw what they can do. So I think that's, if we establish leads earlier, we should see more of Pollard.
I just wonder if maybe perhaps he's not as ready as they made out in the off season. When they were camp and it was like, oh, it's okay. Like Jerry Jones made comments about Zeke not being back. It's like, okay, we got to... I wonder if maybe perhaps he isn't what they were making him out to be, that he's not as ready, if you like, as what's been made out. But leading into that, I'll start with you on this one, Paul, the play calling. So this has been quite the vote of contention with the game.
Yeah.
Where did you see that it went wrong with the play calling? I mean, I know there's specific calls, but what do you think? Why was there such a strange sort of almost like go on, because I'm just going to end up mumbling. So you go with it. The play calling.
Well, so here's my perspective on the play calling. Like, if the run game wasn't working and the pass game was winning all the time, stick with the passing. Like, if it's working, you're getting upfield, you're getting scoring touchdowns. Why change? So there's that. So I totally understand that, but at the same time, it's always good to kind of dive it. Like, but when our O line is not blocking, and like I think offensively we're doing okay. I would say it's more going towards the defense, but we'll touch on that a wee bit.
Yeah.
But I think offensively, I can't really fault it. It's just maybe some decisions with the just with the end of the special teams system. But when you just do break it down, we scored just shy of 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, and Prescott got a high QB rating. And I know just that options to at least 5 different receivers, including tight ends.
Yeah.
So why would you want to change it up when you know the Vikings are at their weakest point, which is their coverage and their corners at the moment?
Yeah.
So I can't really see the argument against that. Like, I think like, I'm not trying to say Moore had a great game in that, like, because the whole controversy of been seeing it, but I'm just saying this, like, from a bit like fact pointing, it was actually not bad when you do think about it.
I mean, some of it, but I think sometimes with the Cowboys, there's this air of stubbornness where they've got in their head the style of game they want to play and they won't deviate from it. But like you say, the passing game was working. It's the old, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Wait for them to make a change and then adjust accordingly. But Brian, what have you got? You got a take on the
it harks back to last season. Everyone knew what we were going to do. Like, at times last night, I was there. Where's Scott Linehan? Is he on the sidelines? I think our first 5 possessions where we had first downs, every one of the first possessions was a run. I mean, vary it up. As you say, we ripped them asunder through the air. We knew their secondary was beaten up, and we still proceeded to hand the ball off and go, there you go, Zeke, pound it up. I mean, even try a bit of run pass. Try and get them to commit. But teams just knew what we were doing, and it was just like that last night.
Just to add on the top of that as well, if there was one thing I was a bit kind of critical was during the game, like, not the tail end, but we were running a lot of inside run, and that's where the Vikings' strongest point is in the middle. Yeah. So,
especially when you've got tackles that are so athletic, so mobile as well, you think taking on the outside, the guys that can do it.
It's like play to their weakness. It's like, if like, for example, if I'm like, this is just me, like if I know there's a second string defensive end, run the ball that side.
Yeah.
Like run it against their second string when you've got your strongest player up against them. It's like that, or strongest tackle, strongest left guard.
Yeah, make him prove
run right through them. You know.
Yeah. Run it out of day.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, I know there's a lot of argument about the play calling, especially towards the end of the game. Hopefully, it's one of those things for Kellen Moore where it's a learning curve for him. Don't forget this is his first year calling games. I'm not making excuses for him, but they've all got to learn, and hopefully it will be another notch in his belt moving forward. But. Look, go on. Have you got something to say, Brian?
I'm going to throw it out there. I mean, I don't hold Kellen Moore responsible for last night.
Yeah.
I don't.
I think we've seen what the guy can do when he seems to be given the play calls. But it just seems to be, that in these games where it's a 50-50 or 55-45 against us, Garrett seems to take over the play calls and there's nothing exotic is coming up. And it's like, Kellen Moore is doing this in the smaller games. We're hammering teams. We're absolutely stomping a mud hole and walking it dry on them. Why are we not trusting him in the bigger games?
Mm-hmm. It just seems like Garrett doesn't fully trust him. It's like, it's like he's your offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Like let him run the plays, and then if it doesn't work, then you can actually have the excuse to actually saying we didn't do a good job offensively. But if you're the one that's making the calls ahead of your offensive coordinator, then that's on you. You're as the head coach.
Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe perhaps he has a slight call in what they do, but I don't think he makes the final call. I think his actual, I mean, it's hard to say because, I mean, we're not listening in on the radio. We don't have a headset. But from what I can gather, he just makes the call of, this is a run play. This is a pass play. And that's it. I think that's all really the hand he has. But, I mean, we'll get into Garrett in a minute. Let's move to the defense, where they did struggle. The opposite, the offense. Paul, who was your defensive MVP?
It's really hard to really choose from that, to be honest. I would say I'm going to say Xavier Woods actually.
Okay.
Because the fact that he was pretty much the last man standing to make the tackles on several occasions to stop Dalvin Cook from gaining any further yards. Mm-hmm. That to me is like that's him committing. Right?
Yeah.
And he did single-handedly stop Cook while he was trying to run with the feet. Then everyone started catching up. So if I'm going to give it to anyone, I would say Xavier Woods. It's probably not the most likely answer, but when you break down, when I was watching the game again today during lunch, just watching the slow-mo, just like because you can see that the game more further that I thought Woods was actually doing more than two jobs for that game.
Yeah.
All right, Brian.
Yeah, I'll give a different name, but I would agree with Paul on Xavier Woods. And I mean, the fact that Jeff Heath went out so early and Darian Thompson was in there, as Paul said, he was having to play for two people nearly. But the other name I'll throw into the mix, and I've been singing his praises all year, is probably Jalen. I think at times Jalen seemed to be playing for two players. I think unfortunately Sean Lee had one of those bad nights. Leighton Vander Esch just seems to have fallen asunder. I don't know what's happening there either. So that's why I'd say Jalen, but it's hard to disagree with Xavier Woods either.
I mean, and then for myself, I just to throw in another game, I'm going to give it to the guy that got our only sack of the game, Mr. Quinn.
Yeah.
Which leads me to the next bit, which I think we've all got the same answer. On defense, where did it all go wrong? Brian, what have you got? Where do you think it went wrong for the defense?
Where I've been saying it all year, defensive tackle. We're so soft up the middle. We're just so soft, and teams know it, and they go at it. And I mean, we called it in the off season. Why did we not go for a big run stuff? Or we drafted Tristan Hill with our first pick. He's not even involved anymore. I mean, I sort of said it to you guys this morning when we were kind of talking in the show. What are we going to do about defensive tackle? Maybe a change of head coach is going to bring it about and just say, right, I want a big fat boy. I want a couple of 330-pound guys that are just going to not just stop, they're just going to absorb the run. It's too easy. Once you get guys getting through our defensive tackles, you're then getting downhill on the linebackers. As we said, Sean Lee and Leighton Van Der Esch had bad nights, and it's easier then for any team.
All right, Paul, you got a different reason, or is that where you're going with where the defense struggled?
I do agree with in terms of like the inside of the D liner, but I'm kind of taking a more broader expanded view in that. I'm going to say overall the front seven to extent, with the exception of Jalen, because it's reading the plays was the problem, where we're slow to react in quite a lot, especially when 9 times out of 10 it was going to be a run. We were slow to react what direction Dalvin Cook was going. We couldn't force him out wide. He still run upfield. So that to me is like bad read options, and also down to tackling as well. Tackling. Like, it's the fact that we were missing tackles, we were wrapping up, but couldn't hold them down. Yeah. And this is where Xavier Woods came down and helped out. And it's like, guys, come on, what are we doing here?
Yeah. I mean, the biggest issue, I mean, I'm sticking with you guys with defensive line. The biggest issue was the fact that you got to remember we were playing against Kirk Cousins, and this is a guy who's renowned for making bad decisions with the ball. You get pressure, you get into his face and start hitting him around. He's going to start throwing that ball wild and free, and we just didn't got no pressure.
You know the worst part of that is that's the first time Cousins has ever beat us.
Yeah. But don't forget, right? All right. I mean,
but like their O-line's legit. Their O-line's really good.
Yeah. That's what I was just about to say. Their O-line, I would say, is easily a top 5 O-line in the NFL.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I know they were banged up a bit as well, so that's also back to a negative of the O-line. But they should have done more. They should have been. If you're not going to get sacks, at least get in his face, because this is a quarterback where you put the pressure on him, he'll make bad decisions.
Yeah, I agree.
Just to follow up, I mean that's the thing though. It's like we just expected there's going to be more run plays as well. I mean, when you compare, there was more run than there was pass attempts for Cousins.
Yeah. He was going for it. But just sticking with defense, we did see at one point we kept them to field goals where they were starting to get it. So they made the adjustments, right? Now the question is, because the Vikings offense kind of stuck with it. So why did it fall apart when we were making those adjustments and holding them down? We even held them, right up to our own end zone. We stopped them getting in. We were holding them back. So we did make the adjustments and it worked. But why is it falling apart? Is it the team or is it the coaching? What do you think, Brian?
I'm not sure, and I suppose it was something I wanted to kind of touch on as well.
Yeah.
Is that as much as the front seven seem to be in trouble, corners are just playing atrocious.
Yeah.
We touched on this a couple of weeks ago. Is that Byron? I wouldn't give him a contract right now. Chido Awuzie is so soft in coverage that he's given up plays, and he shouldn't be starting right now. He's not good enough.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the thing, is teams are going, right, okay, we'll run, and we'll see then if we need to throw the ball, that Chido Awuzie is going to be soft in coverage, or Byron Jones is going to give space, and it's going to be there for us. It happened repeatedly in the Packers game, and it happened again last night. When we kind of had them in that third and long, we gave up plays.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I mean, Paul. I mean, sticking with what Brian's just said there.
Yeah.
Would you now, right, start Jordan Lewis over Chidobe?
Yes.
Would you?
Yeah. Yeah. I would.
I think it's time to give him a go.
Like we've held him back for so long, and he was really great. Like it was Michigan he played for, wasn't it? It was Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Like, everybody raved about him when he was at Michigan. So, but I don't know. Yeah, we got him in an absolute steal, but we just need to just give him a chance, mix it up.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we've seen what Woods is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I say start him, put him over, and just have faith in his ability, because he always seems to be around the ball. He's always making plays.
Yeah, his tracking. Whenever he's on the field, his tracking's great.
Yeah. But that's the ironic thing, right? And we talked about this with Big Game last week. Is Jadobi's tracking of the ball is good as well. It's just when it's at the catch point, he seems to just not understand what he's supposed to do. But let's get into the mailbag so we can fire for this. We got a question from Stephen Manford. Okay. Yep. He's asking about Brett Maher's kicking. Not so much about his accuracy, but the fact that we know he can make the 55-yard kicks. Does it mean that because he's in that 55 or 60-yard range, do we immediately go to him having to kick? Do we have to? I mean, is there a reason? Because he missed that and put the Vikings in not field goal range, in great position. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, do you think it's something that they should take a step back, Brian?
I do. I mean, as you say, just because he can hit it doesn't mean they shouldn't. They should go for it every time. I think Broad have said this in the off season. There's something up with Chris Jones, that there seems to be a thought going around that Chris Jones mightn't be there much longer. And maybe there's a reluctance there to punt. Like, his punting numbers have dropped significantly from what they were. He's not getting the distance. He's not getting the pinning teams back deep. And maybe that's why they're going with Brett Maher, because he has such a big boot. But as you say, if he misses, you're leaving the team in the middle of the field with a chance. I think that, like, the fact that, Brett missed that first kick, and then they turned the ball over and then punted. Be consistent about it,
Yeah. I do apologise as well. We kind of lost a bit of connection there, but it's all back now. I do apologise for that. But Paul, you got to take on Steve's question about Brett. Just because he can hit it, does it mean we have to go to it every time?
It kind of reminds me of what happened back in Houston last season, where we had 4th and 1, and we decided to punt it though. But it's like, I mean, this is where the whole run game would come and play. Like, we don't need to always resort going to a field goal. It's like, if it's like 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, I would take the chance. But that's just me being aggressive though. But just to follow what Brian was saying there, he makes a really great point. And it never even occurred to me about the placeholder.
Yeah.
Never even occurred to me. Yeah. So that can have that didn't have a big major impact. Like, so for all we know, 9 times out of 10, Maher makes that kick without a placeholder, uses like that, the equipment to keep the ball standing upright. You'll probably hit it 9 times out of 10, but whereas the timing of placing the ball down the ground, even if it's tilted to a certain angle, they'll throw the balls like way apart. Yeah. And like you said, Brian, his punting's been dropping as well. So I think that could be something that we need to look at as well, as not just kicker but punter as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a great thing. I'm with you. As soon as you said it, I was like, wow, I didn't even think of that. That was
Yeah.
yeah. But here's the next one from our number one fan, old Big Ken. He's asking about Austin's fair catch. I'll ask you, Paul. One, was there a reason that they made him take the fair catch? And two, would you have said no, let Austin go for it?
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you, Paul. Yeah.
Well, as far as we found out, he was told to stop, which to me made no sense, because when you think about it, Austin's a really, really quick guy in general. He could easily gain an extra 20 yards under 3 seconds if he wanted to, and still had all that space to go out of bounds and stop the clock. So, in terms of that, I don't think there's any excuse we can give. If Austin did it himself, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
But if the coaches told him to do that, I'm speechless about that one. I really am.
I'm thinking there's only one reason that they would tell him to fake catch it, and that's because they're worried about the clock. But to me, I would pick field distance, if you like, field position over time any day of the week. But you got to take on it, Brian?
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I mean, it just seemed to be a case of he was told just fair catch it, and we'll make it up. But as Paul said, the guy is lightning fast. You're in a position where you have to win the game.
Yeah.
Getting 20 yards off the field, you're 20 yards closer to where you need to be. Yeah. You know, and it harks back to that whole thing for me of Garrett is a conservative coach. It's safety first. There's no sense of adventure there. You know, Garrett as a coach is so conservative that, you know, at times when he should be conservative, he goes wild. You know? And you're just there, oh, he's going to do something crazy, and then the next series he'll do something stupid. You know, it's just like, I mean, that was not a time to be conservative. It was a time to just go, let's just cut loose and go for it.
Nothing to lose. We were losing it. We were behind anyway. Why not?
Yeah,
exactly that. Then our final questions from Gavin Doherty. He's asking Jerry Jones, do you think he's going to fire Jason Garrett? Has he got enough nails in the coffin now? Start with you, Paul. What do you think?
Well, considering that it's been we've nearly coming up for 10 years of Jason Garrett now.
Yeah.
We've only had 2 playoff wins, multiple 8-8 seasons. I think we've only had maybe 2 or 3 winning seasons, or I believe. We've had a 12-4, 11-5, and something else.
We've had a 13-3 and 9-7.
Yeah. So but we still just can't hit that barrier. So I'm just like, is it time for a change? Maybe, but I don't see it happening while the season's happening. I would be if Garrett was to be fired, it'd be when the season ends.
Yeah. Do you agree, Brian?
I disagree slightly in that we all know Garrett's out of contract at the end of the season anyway, and I don't think Jerry is going to pull the trigger on it now. I just think he's just sitting there going, I know he's gone at the end of the season, and it's time for me to start making those calls, start looking around the league, see if there's someone I want to take, or if his man crush on Lincoln Riley in Oklahoma can entice him away from Oklahoma.
I'm going to throw a speedball about Mike McCarthy.
No.
If
he couldn't win with Aaron Rodgers. If you can't win with Aaron Rodgers, then
yeah. Because someone posted that on Twitter, and I was just like,
no. If you can't win when you've got the best quarterback, like probably this generation, if you can't get him to a playoff or at least a winning season, then you're done. You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's it for hold on. You get out. Stop. Sorry about that, but yeah, that's it for this week's post-game show. We've got a few bloopers on this one, I can tell you. But we have, of course, got the competition for the UK Cowboys hat still running. The winner's going to be announced this week. So make sure you get involved with that. It's simple. All you're going to do is like the post and boom, you're in with a chance to win. Of course, as well, don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, all the other places where we're at the moment, YouTube, the podcast. But from myself, from Brian with an I, and Paul, we will see you again in the pre-game show later this week.